Somehow
the semi-colonizer
returned.
After 9 movies, finally, the Skywalker trilogy is complete. Or, well, completer. Return of the Jedi wasn't quite good enough for some fans, and the endlessly avaricious
corporation intent on exploiting their nostalgia under the guise of repackaging it
for the new generation.
What inspired you to build a
sequel trilogy
right next door to the original?
Incredible opportunities.
So I really am glad Disney stepped up to bat. That dead horse ain't gonna stay dead, and I'm glad they got JJ back to direct the conclusion to this trilogy. Rian Johnson nearly ruined everything when he undid the end of the previous movie, tossed aside all prior character development, infantilized the universe and its stakes, and then got rid of one of the only characters anyone gives a shit about in the dumbest way possible. Thankfully, JJ's back to put a stop to all of that. Let's see how he fared, eh? In the super final conclusion, for real this time, Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The dead speak! Calm down, Crawl. We already know Force ghosts are a thing. Oh, you meant that seriously dead guy is actually alive. The one who should have died from being tossed down a shaft and vaporized. Did he teleport? So yeah, Palpatine's back. Somehow.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
They better have a damn fine explanation for this.
You'll die first.
I have died before.
Okay, so he's a zombie?
Dark science. Cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
Wait, so he's a clone?
Many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
So he's immortal. Which the fuck is it? Well, it doesn't really matter. It's all bullshit. It wasn't foreshadowed even remotely in TFA or TLJ, because yeah, this was a last-minute desperate attempt to shove more of the OT into the Disney sequels. The return of Sidious is as damning a confirmation as it gets.
It confirms the worst.
Disney did not plan any of this dumbfuckery out. Billions to buy Star Wars, millions more to churn out more installments, and 0 plans for where to go with it.
Where are you taking this thing?
And you thought your life was lacking direction. Of course, this was always a scaled-up cash grab, so passion for good storytelling wasn't ever really there. But come on, how did Disney not have even a basic outline for their trilogy?
Tell us that we have a plan!
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, compadre. The mystery box was always empty.
What's in the box?
It's an illusion.
What's in the fucking box?
A trick to drum up intrigue and anticipation with potential, instead of putting in the extensive amount of work and plotting these types of narratives need.
You lie! You're a fucking liar!
For TFA, all JJ and Lawrence Kasdan had to do was point vaguely in directions the story could go.
A good question for another time.
Then left it to the audience to assume the best. It worked. When it was time to actually follow all that pointing to an actual conclusion, well, JJ's been known to get a little lost. Crazy to think about. The guys who copy-pasted A New Hope didn't have any big ideas of their own. When Ryan said Disney didn't give him any bases to tag, well, yeah, did you watch his movie? But if that wasn't enough to convince you no one was steering this ship, then here you go.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Somehow. Now, to be fair, it's not like the original trilogy had some big comprehensive blueprint behind it. Leia wasn't macking on her brother because Lucas went all in on Star Wars' Japanese influence. Lucas and everybody else just didn't know Leia was Luke's sister yet.
Somehow, I've always known.
Can't spell Leia without A-L-I-E. In a way, Disney's Star Wars is carrying on the tradition of flying the ship by the seat of their pants. Problem is, they crashed it, and now we're left carving a shiv in the shape of the wreckage. But Palpatine has been back in the books for ages. What books? Nah, we thought Palpatine was gone, because for all intents and purposes, he was gone. Until Disney decided he wasn't, because they wanted another billion of your money. No one's ever really vaporized. But that raises a question, how is Rey supposed to get rid of this guy? That's kind of very important for the stakes of this film. Make all the excuses for Palpatine's resurrection that you want, but if they're going to bring him back from the dead, they need to set up a way to kill him for real. How much you want to bet they were smart enough to do that?
You have bets on bad odds?
Alrighty, we're 2 sentences into the movie so far. Making good time. So it starts out on some red planet and Kylo's there making it even redder. And racking up those style points. He's there for this Chaos Gem, which is actually a GPS that leads him to Palpatine's hideout, a planet called Accel. Palpatine leaving his address lying around in a Chaos Gem seems kinda counterproductive, but don't worry about it too much. This is a movie about space wizards intended for man-children. Kylo shows up on Accel and finds none other than Palpdos.
I've been really busy being dead.
Oh, and Snoke's back. A whole bundle of them, just hanging out in these mad scientist tubes. If you thought your Snoke theory sucked, but why do you still have Snokes lying around, Palpy? You better not be doing anything weird with them. Palp speaks and promises Kylo an empire if he kills the last Jedi, then raises a fleet of 1,000 Star Destroyers right out of the ground. This genius spent the last 30 years planning and building these things beneath this planet's surface, presumably, but forgot to install hangar doors. I forgot to make a door! But what Palps lacks in brain power, he makes up for in firepower, because each destroyer is outfitted with its own Death Star laser cannon, hitting 5 planets in one shot with some pussy shit. Now they can drive by hundreds, thousands, billions of planets. Take that empire while you can, Kylo. Not gonna be a lot left over. I thought it was a little on the nose to call the fleet the final solution, but I'm not one to talk. Poe, Finn, and Chewie are out with the Falcon and some space iceberg. They're there to pick up some message from a spy within the First Order. Wonder who that could be. Possibly the only First Order officer who has a name? The message is that Palpatine's alive. Somehow. I'm sorry, is this new? Did y'all not catch the message Palpatine sent out to the entire galaxy already? In Fortnite?
The great error.
The spy also tells them about the Super Death Star fleet, which obviously the Resistance can't hope to even begin to defeat, so why even fucking bother sending them this message? Hux. Because it's a trap. Immediately, TIE fighters rush in to blow the fellas to bits. Poe and Finn don't realize they were set up and take their time to say their goodbyes to this thing before Holdo maneuvering through the ice. JJ took one look at Holdo's trick and went, "That's a good trick. That's the first thing I want the Falcon to do." But not to be outdone by Ryan, JJ introduces his own new trick.
What are you doing? Lightspeed skipping!
Lightspeed skipping is when you can just go to lightspeed over and over and over again in rapid succession, and it just works. Yeah, it breaks hyperspace even more than I would have thought possible, but look at all these colorful visuals it gives us. Ooh, ah. Looks like TIE fighters can do it too though, so it's not super useful. How's Poe gonna shake his tails now? Oh, so they'll just be too slow to react to the massive monster mouth in front of them. Well, can't get any stupider than this. Oh no. Looks like she flies now, with floating rocks circling her as she meditates in order to connect with the past Jedi lives.
Be with me. Be with me.
I think I'm doing it wrong.
Hey, at least Rey's not a you-know-what, right? Since she fails at something. Sure, now she can hover by the power of her own vanilla-scented farts, but that's nothing on Gary Stewalker over here, who force-hovered upside down while balancing Yoda on his foot. Rey, frustrated at her charming imperfection, vents to Leia.
Starting to think it isn't possible to hear the voices of the Jedi who came before.
Nothing's impossible.
Shh, Leia, don't say that. If Rey doesn't have limits, she might get called a mare. An overpowered bitch. Then Rey gets to training, and hey, hold up. She trains now. She trains now. Guess she trains now. Whoa, careful, Rey, you might fall. Whoosh, like a boomerang. God damn, with just a stick. And that slick catch. Ain't she something special? But we must assume she worked her way up to being the special. So she's not a, well, like a Luke. Remember when Luke showed up in his third movie all decked out in black and tossed people around like it was nothing? Rey doesn't need a wardrobe change to fake growth and character development. So anyway, Rey ditches training to read some of those sacred Jedi texts, as they're such page turners. And once you know it, there's a section on Chaos Gems. A little obvious. Then Poe shows up with Rey's ship on fire, in case you didn't notice.
It's on fire! Whole thing's on fire! All of it's on fire!
The movie pretends Rey and Poe are characters whom have interacted beyond their introduction at the end of TLJ. Then Poe drops the bombshell on the Resistance.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Wait, why is everybody so shocked? Palpatine already notified y'all. I really like how dramatically Poe delivers all this exposition, like he's in a movie or something, and how everybody else doesn't have better direction than to glance at each other uncomfortably. These next few lines of dialogue have been brought to you by... No shit, Sherlock!
So Palpatine's been out there all this time, pulling the strings.
Always in the shadows from the very beginning.
If we want to stop him, we must find him. We must find Accel.
No fucking shit! Rey tells Leia she just read about the Chaos Gems, conveniently.
I need to finish what Luke started. Find Accel. Find the Emperor.
No.
The fuck you mean no? Come on, Leia, what else were you training her for? Ninja warrior? Rey rightly shoots her down and insists she's going.
It's what you would do.
No.
Rey and her friends about to head out, except for Rose.
Rose, last chance.
The General asked me to study the specs of old destroyers, so we can stop the fleet if you find it.
JJ, did you not like Rose's character or something?
Do you plan on having any Asian characters join the cast in any upcoming Star Wars films?
First of all, I want to say, go Asians.
The General asked me to study the specs of old destroyers, so we can stop the fleet if you find it.
Go Asians.
To the back of the bus? I almost feel bad for her.
The General asked me to study the specs of old destroyers.
Yeah, get back to studying, Asian.
Here's the thing, I'm not casting Asians.
She doesn't even get her BMAF relationship out of all this. I guess it really didn't go over too well with the Chinese. But can we actually say Finn friend-zoned Rose if they were barely even friends in the first place? At least he invited her and gives her a little shoulder pat.
There's so much I want to tell you.
Tell me when you get back.
That's a death flag. And that should be completely destroyed. There's been no attempt to explain how it went from to this. Should at least show Rey fixing the damn thing. Next up, they show Kylo getting his helmet fixed. Wow, JJ. I do find it kind of funny to think Kylo did the virgin walk back into the elevator to pick up the pieces off the floor while avoiding eye contact with everybody. Kylo shows up to the First Order board meeting to show off his new mask. This bald dude starts bad-mouthing Palpatine. General Pride is having none of it.
The Sith fleet will increase our resources 10,000-fold. Such range and power will correct the error of Starkiller Base.
Yo, someone's finally bringing that up. It was an error, wasn't it? Thank you for saying so, Pride. Always found you the voice of reason in these movies. By the way, where the fuck did you come from? Baldy tries to start some shit again.
What is he asking for in return? Does that...
Yeah, how dare he question Palpatine's benevolence? Rey and Co. fly to yet another desert planet. The Star Wars galaxy is just packed to the brim with sand.
You sure this is it?
Oh, no, sorry, Poe. It was the other desert planet back there. Are you on drugs? Burning Man's being held here, so probably. Some little alien kid gives Rey a little festive necklace to mark that she's a tourist that they can rob later. Then Rey is pulled into a force call with Kylo. As someone who likes and relies on a fair number of cut music jokes, I found this transition pretty funny.
Palpatine wants you dead.
Kylo wastes no time seducing Rey.
I don't want to have to kill you. When I offer you my hand again, you'll take it.
We'll see.
We'll see? Oh no, are you fucking kidding me? Now we know where the Zutarians went. So if this force call feature is so interactive that Kylo can grab whole items through it, why not grab Rey's neck with a little force choke action? She'd be into it. Kylo has the necklace analyzed, because I guess they have intergalactic necklace experts on board, and learns it's from the one specific desert planet out of the 6 trillion of them. I know it seems insanely coincidental Rey just happened to be given a necklace that could lead Kylo right to her only seconds before he rang her up, but shut the fuck up. The First Order head to Burning Man, only it turns out they already have forces on the planet, enjoying the festivities anyway? This one dumbfuck stormtrooper immediately finds Rey, without the Nancy Drew deductions, and tries to hold up the last Jedi and her friends without any backup at all. Then he's suddenly killed by a mystery arrow, because Stormtrooper's armor is made out of fucking styrofoam. The masked crossbow man is big reveal time. Old Man Lando, and the whole theater clapped. Lando just happened to be here at the festival and spotted 3PO's sexy android booty glimmering from across the desert. Well, actually, Leia just called ahead. She just forgot to tell Rey that Lando was even there and how he has extremely pertinent information for their quest. Oopsies. It's almost like JJ wanted this to be some epic reveal and didn't give a damn about how it fit into the story. Lando is shocked when Poe tells him they're looking for Accel. Leia just forgot to mention that to him too. Heaven help you, woman. Lando tells the kids he came here years and years ago following some Jedi assassin named Ouchie, who had a clue to one of the Chaos Gems, but they never found him or his clue, just his ship. The gang head out for said ship, pursued by stormtroopers. On treaded bikes. I guess they don't fly now. What follows is one boring, low-octane chase sequence. It never appears like our intrepid Zeros are ever in any danger. Rey's driving while simultaneously nailing shots. Finn tosses some rope and it all works out, until one brilliant stormtrooper finally decides to try using rockets, which works. But the explosion only sends the gang flying into a cushy quicksand pillow, completely unharmed. However, Rey forgets she can fly now, or use force pull, so they all sink and die anyway. The quicksand deposits them inside a bunch of tunnels underneath it. The sand magically doesn't deposit itself into the tunnels because sand is nice and gentle and doesn't get everywhere.
I like sand.
Oh hey, the clue they needed is exactly where they accidentally ended up. It's a dagger with the coordinates to a Chaos Gem inscribed on it. And you might be wondering, why would anyone think to inscribe these coordinates on a tool meant for orphaning children? But that ain't even the half of it. There's one hiccup. The coordinates are written in Sith, which 3PO can translate, but he's otherwise forbidden from speaking the translation because Sith is hate speech. In that case, probably should have deleted the language from his databanks altogether, but what do I know? So is 3PO also forbidden from writing the translation down? At the very least, he should be able to drop hints, right?
N-I?
A giant sandworm somehow sneaks up on them. Rey, bizarrely, decides to pet it, and oh, she can heal massive wounds at a touch. That's novel. And it doesn't appear to wind her at all. That's powerful. But we can't say Rey is an Eri Mei Usei because of this. Anything's possible with the Force, and Rey's merely a conduit for it. Yes, I perfectly understand this makes the Force seem much more inconsistent and fickle than ever before. But honestly, what did you expect? It is female. I suppose Obi-Wan here just hadn't trained as hard as Rey.
It's too late. No.
Don't cry, Obi. He was always gone. This next sequence of events is an interesting one. See if you can follow along. Rey and Co decide to leave on Ouchie's ship, which is unlocked and still flyable. A little too convenient, but whatever, we'll call that a nitpick. But then Rey senses her e-boyfriend through the Force and dashes off to meet him in the middle of the desert. Alone. No one even tries to stop her. Strike one. Chewie goes to follow her with the dagger, but the Knights of Ren are already here on the ground. How? So they capture Chewie, but ignore Rey. And Ouchie's ship? Strike two. Then Rey plays chicken in the desert with Kylo's ship. And strike three. We're at it here. We were all scratching our heads when we saw this shit in the teaser trailer, but even I thought the movie would, try to set it up. But it doesn't, not even a little. Rey walks out onto this desert to stare down Kylo for no possibly good reason, and Kylo inexplicably bears down on her like he's mowing down a pedestrian who gave him lip in GTA. But you don't run people over when you're fucking flying! And I thought Kylo wanted to turn her to the dark side, not into roadkill.
I'm going to find you, and I'm going to turn you to the dark side.
Rey tries flipping, because that's a good trick. Well, he's fucking dead. Finn does what he does second best, screaming helplessly as he watches his friends be taken away.
They got Chewie! They got him!
Rey has other plans. Now, I know some of you might be tempted to say that holding a moving spaceship in place is a Mary Sue move, and you might even cite evidence like Yoda struggling to hold up some pipes that one time. And, well, yeah, but you guys forget. There was a character in a video game that force pulled an entire Star Destroyer from the sky. Hey, that's not even canon, you might say. So what about when Baby Yoda stopped a charging rhino? And he's just an infant. Oh, I get it, just because they're dudes, probably. They don't get the hate Rey does.
Sexist?
Well, Kylo fucking lived. Somehow. Feeling left out, he enters into this game of tug-o-force. Didn't work out so hot the last time. Something's gotta give, but then something magical happens. Rey accidentally kills Chewie by sharding lightning. Yeah, a lightning shard. She strains herself so hard that the dark side energy she didn't know she was holding in spurts out and blows her friend into big brown hairy chunks. More TIE fighters show up and Rey skedaddles, even though she can blow them all up with super lightning now. Rey has a little cry about killing Chewie because it means she's destined to be the Sith Empress or something. Typical histrionics, but maybe there's something to this. Did Rey perhaps secretly loathe Chewie for always chaperoning her? We all know about how she feels about guys holding her hand.
Stop taking my hat!
Maybe that quiet contempt translated to a couple bajillion volts by accident. Who knows? Not even a minute later. Yeah, Chewie was on another transport ship all along. Everybody just missed that. Actually, Finn did see which ship Chewie was loaded onto and just misdirected everybody. Way to go, Finn. Well, the gang is at a loss for what to do after losing the dagger. 3PO reminds them he already read the dagger, so duh, they don't need it.
So true. The inscription lives only in my memory now.
They head to some place called Kijimi to find some guy named Babu Frick, who can rewire 3PO to say the Sith translation. One catch, it'll wipe all of his memory. No one cares. On the way, BB-8 reactivates a droid on the ship whose name I don't remember and the character's not important enough to include on the Wikipedia page. The droid acts scared and Rey reasons it was mistreated.
Looks like someone treated him badly.
This is directly after the scene where the group decide without any hesitance or reluctance to have 3PO wiped for the Sith translation.
A complete what? It's a terribly dangerous and sinful act performed on unwitting droids.
Let's do that. We're all in this. Till the end.
Except for you, Tinhead. Drink the fucking bleach bit. On Kijimi, the gang is almost immediately found by some helmeted lady named Zori Bliss. But she's actually very pissed because Poe once stood her up to join the resistance. Yeah, sorry everyone. Looks like Poe's a cishet. Zori tries to turn them in with her men, but Rey beats everybody up with ease and holds Zori at saber point. Zori's response is to say she likes Rey.
Not that you care, but I think you're okay.
Now, before you Mary Sayers pop out of the fucking woodwork about how Mary Sues are instantly liked by everyone they meet, this is actually a sneaky ploy by Zori to lower Rey's guard. And it works because Rey shuts off her lightsaber without Zori lowering her gun. Just kidding, Zori thinks better of frying this girl's brains out on the street and takes them to Babu.
Wait. We make him translate it, he won't remember anything.
I feel kind of bad for 3PO here.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir. At my friends.
They don't consider him a friend, and he's flat out a nuisance to Poe. This scene could have had a little gravitas or real emotion to it if just one of the characters voiced the slightest bit of reservation toward killing their friend, but they don't. No one at all speaks up. Not one, there must be another way.
We make him translate it, he won't remember anything.
Let's do that.
3PO is merely a tool to them, and nothing more.
At my friends.
Yep, they rounded out this supposedly emotional scene with a character straight up saying, sad. Don't think I've ever seen that before. Well, the procedure works. 3PO translates where the Chaos Gem is, and he's out. No tragic music, no sadness, no tears, just...
And you are?
Okay, that's gonna be a problem.
True friendship. And if you still felt a pang of loss for 3PO, don't worry. They take that the fuck back too.
Memory restoration complete.
Speaking of...
Chewie?
Rey can feel Chewie alive all the way up on Kylo's Star Destroyer. Begs the question, how didn't she notice she didn't actually snuff out Chewie's life force here? Must have slipped under her radar. The gang heads up into the Star Destroyer with some super special get on any destroyer free coin that Zori just gives Poe because she creamed her spacesuit when he gave her this look.
Wanna come with me?
After parking for free, their brilliant plan is to run out into the landing bay, completely unobscured, and shoot everything that moves. It works. And no, not because Rey is wearing Sue plot armor or anything. Luke Skywalker did the same shit. What a hothead. I guess there aren't any cameras, so sure, run around all you want.
Drop your weapons!
It's okay that we're here.
It's okay that you're here. It's good.
You're relieved that we're here.
Thank goodness you're here. Welcome, guys.
Did she do that to us?
We're looking for a prisoner and his belongings.
Alright, so go ahead and tell them to release Chewie. Or not.
The cameras.
Hold up, so there are cameras. But wouldn't shooting them alert anyone monitoring them?
Rey, come on.
The dagger's on this ship. We need it.
Why?
Why?
A feeling.
Oh, a feeling. The last time she had a feeling, she ran off to play with Kylo and supposedly killed Chewie. So maybe you guys should try to stop her.
I'll meet you back at the hangar.
Rey, you can't just...
Or not. Stormtroopers are so fucking useless. Holy shit. One does manage to singe Poe in the arm though, and that's enough to get them captured. Rey busts into Kylo's room to smell his bed sheets, but is caught in the act as Kylo force calls her again.
Rey.
Kylo pushes Rey to remember her parents, undoing all of her hard work repressing her memories of them.
Search your memories.
Hard work like waiting all of her life on Jakku for her parents to come back, just to see them again, or jumping into a dark side pool to discover who they really were. Only now that Kylo is whispering bitter somethings in her ear can she handle the truth about her parents, obviously. But yeah, her parents were nobodies by choice to hide Rey from Palpatine, because she inherited his power as his granddaughter. Ah, finally! It's that Palpatine midichlorian count coursing through her veins. And now that we can explain Rey's incredible aptitude for the Force, well, she can't be a Mary Sue. Checkmate, racists! She's a Palpatine! He tried to stop this. Perhaps years from now, people will see. But it's not yet that day.
I never lied to you. Your parents were no one.
Well, no, you said they sold her for drinking money. So they didn't really value her highly, did they? Like, why would they even try to sell her if they were protecting her? There had to have been a couple other options before they hit indentured servitude on a desert planet. Maybe an alien orphanage on a slightly more temperate planet? Perhaps a space nunnery? Hell, drop her off at Canto Bight. At least those child slaves probably get air conditioning and horse dogs. By the way,
I'm the spy.
No, really?
I knew it!
Tell him we found our spy.
Can't hide from the Pride. But wait, wouldn't killing the supposed suspect make Pride look super suspect? Not if you don't think about it. Kylo proposes to Rey once again and goes on about something called a dyad, which is a bond in the Force that makes 2 1. Essentially, Rey and Kylo are destined to make the Reylo ship sail. So he's saying they should team up and take down Palps with their combined strength. And you know what? Provided he's telling the truth for once, and he is, not a bad idea. Palpatine is the bigger threat at the moment with the Death Star fleet, and it can be reasonably assumed by Rey that Kylo can reach him, so maybe just go dark side for a little bit for the greater good.
She's tampering in dark-sided stuff!
That certainly would be the more interesting choice for her character, wouldn't it? Abandoning the light to save it. Not only that, but it'd make her visions of a sudden and inexplicable turn to the dark side a little more credible than, you know, not at all. In just about every way I can think of, Rey temporarily going to the dark side makes for a better, more cohesive story. So she jumps away into the Falcon and skips off, then crashes into the Endor moon. And that's what's left of the Death Star. Good luck finding your Chaos Gem, kids. Work's cut out for you. Oh no. No, 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 no. No! Yeah, Rey uses the dagger, which has been cut into the shape of the Death Star wreckage, to determine the location of the Chaos Gem against the Death Star wreckage. God damn, another prime brain hurting moment. Think about this. Someone cut up a knife. Why at this spot at this specific angle? How did Rey know to come exactly here anyway? When was this dagger made, and how has the Death Star wreckage stayed perfectly structurally intact in all this time since? In an ocean! Fuck, how is there even this much of a Death Star chunk left intact after an explosion like this? Does reactor fuel not melt steel beams? No, we gotta stop thinking, we're getting into the red. But how did this planet even fucking survive getting hit by something so gargantuan and indestructible? My brain, I can't stop it. After busting the Falcon, our protagonist can't reach the Death Star without braving these wicked waves. So they start repairs with some new character named Jana and her gang. Jana reveals she was a First Order conscript, just like Finn, so they bond over that, despite that Finn has coldly murdered countless conscripts like her. He could just as well kill her too, for all the purpose she really has in this story. Rey, impetuous as ever, heads out and effortlessly braves the treacherous waters by herself. She sails now, which isn't a Mary Sue move, by the way. She trained her whole life for this, with all that dune surfing. Rey finds the Emperor's old throne room, and heyo, the Chaos Gem's right next door. No one, not a single person, must have thought to check up on those Death Star leftovers in all these years. Rey is the first scavenger to scavenge the Emperor's throne room. That's bullshit, and I don't believe it. Darth Rey makes an appearance, and flashes some of that good old British dental work for a scare. But it's no biggie. The moment Rey's attention shifts, she disappears. The implication here is that Darth Rey is a figment of Rey's imagination. So if that's the case, did Rey invent this folding saber design? Guess we found something Rey isn't very good at. Kylo apparates in because he must have had a Death Star shaped dagger too. Then he crushes Rey's Chaos Gem, leaving himself as the only option for Rey to stop Palpatine. Now she'll take his hand, right? For the greater good? No! Or not. Playing really hard to get. Kylo beats her in their saber fight, because Ga Ren Stew. This is precisely the moment that Leia force calls her son. Kylo can't hear her very well in their non-dyad connection, but Rey thinks he's calling a younger woman, gets mad, and stabs him in the chest while he's distracted. Then Leia dies. My brain hurt again. It sounds like Leia uses the last of her life force to ring up Kylo.
To reach her son now will take all the strength she has left.
And in the wildest coincidence ever, it ran out, just as Rey sucker-sabered her boy. But that's not how I interpreted it on my first watch. I thought Leia connected herself to Kylo through the Force, and the sudden trauma of her son getting skewered overloaded that connection and killed her. From the way the scene is edited, doesn't it kinda look like Leia reacts to the stab? I choose to believe Rey killed Leia. It's funnier that way. Rey has insta-regret, heals Kylo, then steals his ship conveniently parked next to them, which somehow wasn't washed away by the giant crashing waves. I'm not sure why I'm even pointing this shit out anymore. Rey abandons everyone, so everyone returns to base, rendered useless. Kylo sees Han, but Han's not a ghost, you got that? It's just Kylo's delusion.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
You do.
My son is dead.
Kylo forgives Kylo for cheap-shotting the real Han, and that's it. Kylo's good now. That's all there is to it. Kylo then throws away his extremely useful weapon. Death Star Destroyer destroys Kijimi. Zori and Babu teleport. Leia makes Poe general. Holdo cry. Rey flees to Island World and redoes Luke's TLJ arc in about 4 minutes. Ghost Luke pops in and gives Rey Leia's lightsaber. But she's already got his. Is Rey gonna be giving everyone stuff? She gets all your sabers, she gets your fucking ships. The only thing this bitch has of her own is a stick. A fucking stick. A fuck stick. Rey gets over herself, magically. Chaos Gem survives fire, magically. Ghost Luke lifts his ship out of the water, magically. Ship waterlogged for years just works, magically. Rey goes to Accel and sends the Resistance the flight path. Resistance plans to blow up the Death Star fleet because fleet can't go up.
It can't go up?
They don't fly now? Well, apparently not without a nav tower to tell them how. Okay, a single enormously convenient oversight that the good guys can exploit to obliterate the bad guys. Nothing new to Star Wars. An exhaust port, a shield generator, a woman, and this time a direction. Up. Maybe it's me, but craft built for flight should be able to lift off and keep lifting? I got it. It's because these people have been stuck underneath the planet's surface building these things. They've probably never even seen up without a ceiling before. Not even a hangar door. No fucking wonder they're confused.
This is flying with style.
No shields and no way out.
How do we blow it up? There's always a way to do that.
We think hitting the cannons might ignite the main reactors.
We need to put some hold-on maneuvers.
Not a bad idea, Mary. If one relatively tiny resistance ship can light speed through a mega destroyer and take out a fleet of like 20 other destroyers, then surely there are some resistance folks willing to go full jihad for the cause.
We need to put some hold-on maneuvers. Do some real damage.
Come on, that move is 1 in a million.
Never tell me the odds.
1 in a million, eh?
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
What a flyboy Luke was, betting the survival of the resistance on such bad odds.
Use the Force, Luke.
Come on, that move is 1 in a million.
Holdo would be beside herself.
You have bet the survival of the Resistance on bad odds and put us all at risk?
But you know what? These odds aren't even that bad, all things considered. Succeed just once, and who knows how many ships will be taken out in such close proximity. Don't be so quick to dismiss the man, Finn. It could work. But now you got me wondering, how do you even mess up the hold-on maneuver? You just point your ship at something and punch it, right? So simple, even the worst admiral of all time could do it. And if you don't succeed in crashing the first time, try again. It's not like hyperdrives necessarily need time between jumps anymore. Just light speed skip until you collide with something and take out everything around it. Fortune favors the Boldo. Instead, Finn's plan is to have Lando and Chewie call out for help throughout the galaxy. Leia's call went fully ignored last time, but this time they figure Lando has some actual charisma to make it work. Luke standing down the First Order by himself wasn't enough to motivate all these aliens to get off their asses. But a booty call from Pando? So Lando will bring the galaxy's horniest to Accel and have them shoot up the Death Star cannons, which in turn will blow up the destroyers. Well, that's a video game weak spot if I've ever seen one. They even glow red. The Resistance zip off to Accel and make it just behind Rey. Somehow. They make a beeline for the nav tower, but the final order switches to another nav tower on a Star Destroyer. The Resistance then makes a beeline for that one, and they drop Finn, Jannah, and some nobodies on top of the destroyer to let them run for it. On horses. Yeehaw! In response, the final order just banks the ship a bit and slides them off.